Praise the Darkness Jerky.
Hello there, Seraphim17 once again, introducing you to my The Darkness 2 Dawn Difficulty video walkthrough. This is Chapter 4, Q&A. And this is the first real combat-y heavy mission that you could probably die on, because the last one was the demo mission, so you should all be pretty good at that one, or I assume you should be. So this one is when we're going to be going into the blue and getting our ass kicked by a whole bunch of different scumbags. There's also a boss fight that I probably think is the most challenging one on the game, just because it's kind of gay. But I'll talk about that when we get there. And something I should have mentioned in the previous video is, I've said, if you ever get in trouble or you find yourself struggling to hang back and snipe people and play it like a first-person shooter using cover and only using the darkness abilities in defense, and that is a really good strategy. One thing I didn't mention though is the enemies on the game will rush you. They will get and try and outflank you, so you need to be super careful of that, or you'll end up getting peppered from the side, and it happens a lot. But this first section is simple. You can use the pull cues as javelins to take these guys out, and a couple of rules that you're going to learn as you play the game. If anybody's holding a melee weapon, it means that they are a melee enemy, and they will never shoot you usually. They'll just run wherever you are, they'll run to you and start trying to beat you up. And the rule of thumb with these guys is if you whip them and then grab them, you can execute them, and they never ever, you know, become more difficult than that. They look fancier, they get more armor, but they're never more challenging than that two-piece, and it will save you a lot of time. Because if you see a guy that's running towards you and he doesn't have a gun, he will always melee you, so you should whip him and execute him. That simple, save your ammo. But the last video I went into a lot of the negatives of the game, and I didn't mention that many positives. So this one I'm going to go through some of the positives I really like, and I'm probably not going to get them all because I'm the type of guy that I forget what I've just fucking said, I forget what I've just watched. I'm really bad. My short-term memory is atrocious. My long-term memory is majestic. I don't know why. It's just, you know, how I'm designed, and it's pretty weird. But the use of music in the game, a lot of it is like Jane's Addiction and stuff. It's pretty damn awesome. It's fitting and it's funny, and I appreciated it a lot. The aesthetic that a lot of people are mocking and saying looks kind of rough, you know, when you look at it up close, I love. I think it's comic booky, I think it suits it, and it reminds me of 13, and I was a big 13 fan, so it's like a remastered version of that, because it looks so good at what it is. And if you can overlook a couple of, you know, dodgy looking graphics, it's pretty damn sexy, and it's so stylized, it's just enjoyable to watch. I like it a lot, because it makes the gore, it makes the action, it makes everything feel that little bit more comic booky and that little bit more visceral, so that is a great thing. But this section here is kind of interesting because there's a big map of open ground here to cross to get to these dudes, and there's a whole bunch of these car doors to help you pass that distance, but on Dawn, they strip the car door down real quick, so I use a bunch of these to throw them at them, and there is loads of car doors around here. It's just sometimes picking them up can be a little bit fussy, and I actually get to the point where I don't think I can pick them up, even though I could have done, so I start to try and snipe stuff from over here, and it doesn't work too great. But couple things to bear in mind, some little tidbits that I don't think I've mentioned. In the bottom left hand corner you have 4 circles of life, and the life works just like Resistance's life did before they gave it regeneration in the second one. And what I mean by this is, as long as you have a section left in the bar, if you stop anywhere and hide for a few seconds, it will regenerate that full bar. And you can utilise this to pretty much keep your life stocked up. And there's actually a boss towards the end of the game where my technique to beat him is very aggressive, but I end up getting down to one bit of life, so every time I attack him and he nearly kills me, I have to wait for it to regenerate before I can attack him again, or he'll just cut me down. So it's just something to bear in mind, and you should always be watching your life when you're in a firefight, because it goes down real quick, and if you're not prepared, you might die and not realise, so just be aware. But looks like this video isn't long enough for me to really get into all the stuff I like about the game, but I'm going to try my best as I buy the ability to get more life from eating hearts. So, a couple of things I love about this is they kept the Starbreeze, you know, tendency to keep everything first person. There is no part of this game except for when you use the Darkling where you see Jackie and it's not in first person view. Pretty much all the cutscenes keep to the first person thing, they commit to it, and I really like that, because that's why I like Condemned, that's why I like Monolith as a developer, because they show you that you are a first-person character, and they let you see your body. They make it real. They make it immersive, and it's enjoyable for that. And this game, it makes a fantastic job of it. And the last thing that I really liked on this, when I played through the Darkness 2, was the whole, spoiler alert just in case people are planning to play this, there's this asylum section to a lot of the levels where you're walking around an asylum and you're seeing people from this reality in that asylum, and it's not quite making sense, and it makes you start to question what is real and what is fake. You know, are you really just some psychopath in an asylum who's dreaming all this shit? Are you just, you know, suffering from a psycho illusion and all that good stuff? And it proper does a Shutter Island on you. It's a full-on Shutter Island, and it's really cool. Kind of predictable, but at the same time I did enjoy it because it's the type of thing that I like. I like a bit of mystique. It's just the plot could have carried a couple more themes to keep your interest a little bit more, so it always comes back to, you know, the weaker plot, which is a shame, because I think a lot of people are going to think this game is not that enjoyable because the story is kind of ABC, and there are some interesting beats. It's just they do take a while to get there, and if you don't have the patience for it, you're probably not going to give a shit, and it's a bit of a shame. But we're approaching the boss here, so use the shrine if you need to get the ammo just in case, and the next video is going to be taking out the very first boss of the game, so I will see you there. You take care now.